one video one still.
On behalf of the Port Anthony High School, Port Anthony Secondary, what else we used to call it? Senior school. Because the past students are coming from way back. Port Anthony Secondary, Port Anthony High, Compre Senior School, all of them. On behalf of the past students, the entire year is gone because we have past students who have been contributing. So from them come right up, and we have young ones. We take great pleasure in handing over this check to the Port Anthony High School, the principal and staff, and the vocational area for use of this because we believe in our children, and we believe that the fact that this school has done for us, we are doing for the school, and we continue to do, and we want to be a part of the school fully now as a past students association right across the length and breadth of Jamaica and across the diaspora. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much on behalf of the Board of Management staff and of course the very religious students. We want to thanks for the past students for coming forward like this, and I want to tell you that this is prophetic, or this is more than a blessing. I feel that it in this way. We just lost the service of the one we had, and we use it probably from when you were students. So, this has just come in time for everything from CSEC right around to repairs that we are doing now. It has been in use since it has been installed, and therefore it could not have come at a better time. And so we are grateful for the gift, and we're very happy that we'll be able to continue doing what we were trying to do all along, using equipment that are not as good as and moderate as this one. And for the students, we're really grateful for the country.
And thank you and the teachers for your service.
This one.
Yeah.
You see everybody? One video one still.
On behalf of the Port Anthony High School, Port Anthony Secondary, what else we used to call it? Senior school. Because the past students are coming from way back. Port Anthony Secondary, Port Anthony High, Compre Senior School, all of them. On behalf of the past students, the entire year is gone because we have past students who have been contributing, who could have been my parents, who are contributing. So from them come right up, and we have young ones. We take great pleasure in handing over this check to the Port Anthony High School, the principal and staff, and the vocational area for use of this because we believe in our children, and we believe that the fact that this school has done for us, we are doing for the school, and we continue to do, and we want to be a part of the school fully now as a past students association right across the length and breadth of Jamaica and across the diaspora. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much on behalf of the Board of Management staff and of course the very religious students. We want to thanks for the past students for coming forward like this, and I want to tell you that this is prophetic, or this is more than a blessing. I feel that it in this way. We just lost the service of the one we had, and we use it probably from when you were students. So, this has just come in time for everything from CSEC right around to repairs that we are doing now. It has been in use since it has been installed, and therefore it could not have come at a better time. And so we are grateful for the gift, and we're very happy that we'll be able to continue doing what we were trying to do all along, using equipment that are not as good as and moderate as this one. And for the students, we're really grateful for the country.
And thank you and the teachers for your service.
You see everybody? One video one still.
On behalf of the Port Anthony High School, Port Anthony Secondary, What else you used to call it? School?
Senior
Senior school. Because the past students are coming from way back. Fourth and to the secondary, fourth and to the high, come for senior school. All of them. On behalf of the past student, the entire year is gone because we have past students who have been contributing. Who could have been my parents who are contributing. So from them come right up, we have young ones. We take great pleasure in handing over this check to the high school, the principal and staff, and the vocational area for use of this because we believe in our children and we believe that the fact that this school has done for us, we are doing for the school and we continue to do, and we want to be a part of the school fully now as a Past Students Association right across the length and breadth of Jamaica and across the diaspora. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much on behalf of the Board of Management staff and of course the very dedicated students. We want to thank for the past students who are coming forward like this, and I want to tell you that this is prophetic, or this is more than a blessing. I feel that it in this way. We just lost the service of the one we had, and we use it probably from one of your students. So, this has just come in time for everything from CSEC right around to repairs that I don't know. It has been in use since it has been installed, and therefore it could not have come at a better time. And so we are grateful for the gift, and we are very happy that we'll be able to continue to do what we were trying to do all of that, using equipment that are not as good as this, and modern as this one, and for the students. We are really grateful for the country.
And thank you and the teachers for your service.
Come out here and we see you in the sun. Wow. Thank you for your service. Independence is not just another word in Jamaica. It is significant. And emancipation is also significant. We must now start to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. And there's a saying in Jamaica said, Babylon released the chain, but them I use their brain. Independence 62, one love to the world, must also mean respect for our people from our leaders. It must also mean consultation and involving the citizens of Jamaica in decision making. And when we decide to build a halfway house in the town of Port Antonio for our homeless and our mentally ill people, there must be public consultation with the citizens of Port Antonio and the residents of West Baptist Avenue. We must start to respect our citizens and involve them in the decision making. Message from the leader of the come out here and we see you in the sun. Wow. Thank you for your service. Independence is not just another word in Jamaica. It is significant. And emancipation is also significant. We must now start to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. And there's a saying in Jamaica said, Babylon released the chain, but them I use their brain. Independence 62, one love to the world, must also mean respect for our people from our leaders. It must also mean consultation and involving the citizens of Jamaica in decision making. And when we decide to build a halfway house in the town of Port Antonio for our homeless and our mentally ill people, there must be public consultation with the citizens of Port Antonio and the residents of West Baptist Avenue. We must start to respect our citizens and involve them in the decision making. Message from the leader of the
I'll go and touch it one more
Come
time.
out here and we see you in the sun. Wow. Thank you for your service. Independence is not just another word in Jamaica. It is significant. And emancipation is also significant. We must now start to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. And there's a saying in Jamaica, said Babylon release the chain, but them I use their brain. Independence 62, one love to the world, must also mean respect for our people from our leaders. It must also mean consultation and involving the citizens of Jamaica in decision making. And when we decide to build a halfway house in the town of Port Antonio for our homeless and our mentally ill people, there must be public consultation with the citizens of Port Antonio and the residents of West Baptist Avenue. We must start to respect our citizens and involve them in the decision making.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and welcome. May the good Lord bless and keep you. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Welcome to Portland Spice TV. Big Abel, welcome. Good morning. Morning, everybody. Share the channel now. Share it to all of your contacts. Like up the video. And let's get together this morning because we have a couple of things that we want to talk about. At 9:30, we're going to be talking to Dr. Olivia Rose. She's a sports psychologist. And you know, the Olympics is ending today or tomorrow. So we want to talk a little bit about Jamaica's performance in the Olympics. And our information is that they did not have a sports psychologist on the team in Paris with them. And we want to talk to her this morning. She's also the Deputy Shadow Minister on sports. No. She is the Junior Shadow Minister on sports. And she's also the Junior Shadow Minister in the Shadow Ministry of Culture and the Creative Industry. So we're going to be talking to her a little bit about sports psychologists this morning and sports psychology, and to understand a little more about the importance of having a sports psychologist on a sporting team, going abroad, going in new areas, and getting acclimatized places that you don't even understand the culture and how that could benefit our sportsmen and women. What an Olympics we have had. Injuries all across the board. Our top 3 sprinters, female sprinters, did not take part. In the name of Elaine Thompson-Hero, Shelley and Fraser Price, and Sharika Jackson. The awesome threesome. And right there, you are speaking of possibly 3 medals in the 100 meter, possibly 2 in the 200, and another 1 in the 4x1. So we're talking about another possibly 6 medals between those 3 ladies that did not take part in the Olympics. We want to, this morning, big up Kishian Thompson, new kid on the block. And I particularly like his disposition. He understood where he went wrong, and he was not going to settle. Like some people are saying to him, it's your first Olympics, you got a silver medal. The man said, I know me. Faster than that. And we should have come out here and get the goal. Still want to congratulate you, sir. Thank you for what you have done for this country. We also want to talk about the award received by Moses Davis and Rodney Price. And there are some arguments going around. And I tell you this, truth is truth, whether you believe it or not. Sorry. Truth don't happens to be truth because you believe. Or truth don't happens to become a lie because you don't believe. Truth is truth whether you believe it or not. Truth is consistent. Mark Jefferson Golden, leader of opposition, president of the People's National Party, made a recommendation that these two artists be honored at the Grand Gala, at the Independence celebration. Now, if the government had it in mind to honor them, we never know. And therefore, I don't want to really talk about Babsy this morning because Babsy is still, I expect, still in the hospital. And when somebody is ill, we don't want to really mount criticism on them at that time. We want her to get well. So, Honorable Babsy Grange, Minister of Sports and Entertainment and Gender Affairs, and some others, we wish you a speedy recovery, my lady. Here's hoping that you get well soon and be in the saddle again. But if Mark Golden made a recommendation, he made a recommendation. If he did not make one, then come out and say him never make none. But if he make a recommendation, you can't say him a look political mileage out of it. He made the recommendation. And a lot of us are of the opinion, and there are some information swirling around, that another man was going to get the award. Last year, was it last year? That Wayne Marshall was awarded. Now, we look at the thing different. And we respect every Jamaican artist. Because from where I sit, all of our artists are assets to this country that we have not been able to market and to earn from properly. So we, in the abundance of wealth, are poor and pauperizing because of a lack of knowledge of what we have in our midst. And when I hear some people are behaving like Beanie and Bunty don't deserve the award, I say to them, woe ye to your blind Bartimaeus. The value of these two gentlemen to Jamaica, lot of you don't know. Beanie Man and Bunty Killer, had we understood the creative industry, would have been an institution in this country. Yeah? Beanie Man and Bunty Killer are world stars, global stars, mega, and can earn billions in US dollars for this country. And I'll tell you that the next PNP administration will be putting the necessary infrastructure and will be facilitating the kind of work that needs to be done so that the earnings will benefit our people. I also hear the talking that we're going to import teachers from all about over the world. We're going to import teachers, and right now, we can't even pay our teachers. We can't pay the teachers them we have. But we're planning to import teachers. You believe that? What about our culture? Will these teachers be able to understand our youth them? Deal with them? And some people might say our teachers go abroad and understand them over there. But the places I hear the planning on importing teachers from, some of those places aren't even English-speaking country. But I say that on the back of talking about Beenie Man and Bounty Killer, because I have been preaching and telling and singing the song that it is the culture and the creative industry that will bring us to that place where we'll be able to pay our teachers properly. Because right now, we're not paying our teachers properly, hence they have to be leaving. It's not every teacher that leave Jamaica want to leave, But if you have talent, and your talent is more valued somewhere else, and you can earn more from your talent somewhere else, you're going to move. Because sometimes it is the location that determines what you get for your talent. There was a thing on, I don't remember if it's Instagram or Facebook, that a man was showing you a bottle of water. And a bottle of water in a supermarket in America is about 40 cents. When you go to a nightclub, that same bottle of water costs maybe about $1.50. But when you go to the airport, Black or Pearl, that bottle of water is $4. So people are going where they are getting more for their talent. Jamaica not able to pay properly because we're not earning. And I am ready to challenge anybody that the culture and the creative industry can put us into a place or put us at a place where we can pay our teachers twice what they are getting now. And I heard I think it's the president of the JTA now sing one of my songs, because a long time me I tell you, say government fi give teacher land. When teacher left college and ready to start work, they must get a lot of land. And they get the lot of land, they will also get NHT. Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown? I would have really love to have a conversation with my friend, Mr. Ricardo Brown. Mr. Brown! It's still say connecting. Let me call you straight, because I don't know why my GLP friend them afraid to talk to me on here. So I understand that some people are also disappointed that we didn't start on Styles FM Tuesday night gone. Tuesday night we should have started our live show on Styles FM, but when Uriel and myself and I see Dr. Olivia Rose in the waiting room, when we discussed the start, we never remember that Tuesday night was Independence Day. And Independence Day is a day where yours truly do a lot of work. And Tuesday night just wouldn't make. So we actually change it, and we're going to be starting Tuesday the 13th. Let us see if I can get Ricardo Brown. Oh, me think you wanted to talk to me on the show, you know, man. I thought you wanted to talk to me on the show. All right, my brethren. Big up yourself. Yes, man. All is well. Let's bring in Dr. Olivia Rose. Dr. Rose, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I am good. Good morning to your viewers, listeners as well.
Yes. Brighten up the channel with your pretty face.
Thank you.
Dr. Olivia Rose, Junior Shadow Minister in Sports and Junior Shadow Minister in Culture and the Creative Industry. And Dr. Rose is a sport psychologist. Did I get that right, Dr. Rose?
Yes, that is correct.
Before we go any further, tell my viewers what it is that a sports psychologist does.
So, a sports psychologist is really a trained professional who would have gone through at least a master's degree in psychology, be it counseling or sports psychology, and or applied and specializing in working with athletes and coaches in a sporting space. So we help with the mental and emotional preparation of athletes and coaches as well, the entire team, in terms of ensuring the overall well-being of the team that we are working with. But of course, most of our program is centered around working with athletes.
What's the difference between a sports psychologist and a behavioral psychologist?
Okay, so a sports psychologist can also be a behavioral psychologist, but a behavioral psychologist or a clinical psychologist, or the thing is, there are so many different types of psychologists. So a behavioral psychologist or a therapist, in other words, like a clinician, they specialize with mostly they have a different client base, and it's not sport based only. So it's not like a clinical psychologist cannot see an athlete, right? But they specialize mostly in diagnosis and treatment of psychopathology, meaning disorders and so on. Whilst a sports psychologist, or helping the modification of behaviors as it suggests. But a sports psychologist is trained and works specifically within a sporting arena. So in the same way you have a cardiologist dealing with the heart, and they're a medical doctor, and you have an ophthalmologist dealing with eyes and so forth. It's just different areas of specialization.
All right. So my information is that we didn't have a sports psychologist in Paris with the Jamaican Olympic team. Is that your information?
That's my information as well. There's not a named sports psychologist there, and that's different versus if persons have their own sports psychology consultant, because I'm aware that there is Nicholas Powell, who is a sports psychology consultant who can offer similar services as a sports psychologist, but he is contracted with a particular sponsor, right? So only the athletes who are sponsored by that particular brand would have access to him.
His service.
Even though I do believe, him being a fellow Jamaican, he would extend that service if there's a need, or if he's welcome, because that's another thing. The need could be there, but you may not be welcomed. And without the welcoming, what we do is ineffective, because people have to be receptive to what it is that we offer. So
no, other Olympic, the last Olympic, did we have sports psychologists on those team? Have we ever
No,
had
there
that?
was no sports psychologist or sports psychology consultant in the last Olympics, the 2020. There was one some many years ago. I think Khadija Richards was her name. And I don't know why that practice of ensuring that there is one working or accessible, because as I said, our effectiveness is based on people's reception towards services that we provide. And as a Jamaican, we are we're not the most willing to always have or to have somebody working with us in that particular area, because it contradicts our persona of being strong. And remember, it's even when I just started in sports psychology from 2008, a very top athlete asked and inquired, "Who is that lady?" And when he was told what it is that I do and what the services I offered, he ran off in such great speed. He disappeared. So, in a
But why?
sense,
Did you inquire
why?
why?
Why? Because and okay, over the years, funny enough though, it has changed somewhat. People generally are not, they are reluctant to have somebody, because I remember one student athlete said, "I wish she had come, I don't want nobody to work on my mind." So, it was like offering at the time to samples of people constantly rejecting, even though they need it. And that's the irony of it. And I remembered when I just started working too, about in 2010, I had a very prominent athlete that I had to see only at nighttime, because that person didn't want to be seen even having anybody. Because you can't, based on where my office was, you you may know the person is going to see a psychologist, right? But I'm telling you how much the stigma still exists or
But a
existed back then.
psychologist is different from a psychiatrist.
Yes, but they are the same family, they are cousins. So a psychiatrist is a medical doctor trained and specializing in psychiatry and mental health, mental
Right.
illness, right?
Mhm.
And a psychologist, as I've outlined, you have various types. You have some psychologists that don't even have clients. They do solely research and help in formulating concepts about behavior modification, and so on. You have some who deal with counseling, different types. But
But doesn't it also deals with some motivational aspect?
it does. And most of it is really you using, because as I said, even though I would not call myself a behavioral psychologist, I have to use the techniques from behavioral psychologist principles with and in working with athletes in sport, so that they get the kind of results that they anticipate or are working towards. But like I was saying, the stigma existed then a lot. It's less now, because I can't believe I have parents taking their children to see me. So that's a vast improvement from when the person was running away from me or running away from the services that I provided. Because again, don't want to be dubbed as crazy. So in the same way, when you would hear a little recording, if your credit is running out, whenever I was introducing myself to a team or an athlete, I used to have a little line that sounded like a recording, which said, "Working with a sports psychologist doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you." I mean, that could be the case though, but it simply means you want to maximize your potential on a day when it matters the most, which is competitions. And with that little introduction, people started to be less reluctant and skeptical, and more embracing of the services that I provide.
Is there any Jamaican team, any Jamaican sporting team that normally have a sports psychologist with them?
Yes, I worked briefly with the netball team, and I know that the sports psychology consultant who is there now, I think he worked briefly with the reggae girls. So there are teams that do understand the importance of having a sports psychologist with the team, especially given the vast array of personalities.
My information is that the United States team always have sports psychologists with their teams.
Yes, always. And not just the United States. We have in the Caribbean, Cuba from very early, because remember, Cuba is very heavy on sports science. They've always had a sports psychologist with them. And there are many countries in many developed spaces that always have one or two, not just one. There are, because like I said, many. And even in the Caribbean, because I've worked briefly with the senior women team back in 2015 to 2019, they utilize the service of a sports psychologist.
Do you know if the West Indies cricket team have that services to them?
That's what I said. I know of the female team.
But the male,
I think briefly there was somebody there with the men, but currently there's not that person now.
Dr. Rose, if it's one team that needs a sports psychologist, is the West Indies cricket team. And I will say it here without any fear of contradiction. The West Indies cricket team is not short on talent.
No.
It is short on headspace. Somebody needs to get into these guys' head. You can't, if you watch West Indies cricket, sometimes you can tell that this man going out within the next 6 balls. Because you see him being set up and you know see him react to being set up. Him just playing the same way. But Gilly 416 from out of Canada in the chat room is saying that he believes that coming out of the Paris Olympics, a lot of our athletes are going to need help. What do you think?
Absolutely, especially given the fact that, one, we have a culture in Jamaica that is strongly, I don't even think strongly is the word, overly embedded in winning. We speak fluent winning language, okay?
Yes.
So if you're not winning, we are not even concerned. Just think about yourself in fan mode. In fan mode, you're in fan mode as a Jamaican, it's almost like you're out there running or competing with them. And I must say, even recently, the throw by Stoner in the finals, I was at a restaurant, and everybody stopped. We were all looking, but I think a race came in just before, and I think we had placed 7th. And I cannot repeat what was said based on how disappointed the fans right there who were never running, commented and felt, and was almost about to turn off the TV while there were still patrons around and so on, because of the level of frustration that in fan mode and as a people we can become. So
I almost cried for Kishian. The first in my life me ever see a race, and I'm not a fan, I'm a AC. No, but Kishian race is the first me feel like tears come on my eye in a disappointment. And I don't like the man win a silver medal.
There are lots of factors that happened, especially prior to the start of that race, that impacted, I think, all of the athletes negatively. But it's the same thing I would say in terms of when an athlete is going to complain to me about the sun. You can't complain to me about the sun because everybody was out there in the same sun, right? So yes, the period from which they would have warmed up and then being out there for so long before the race started.
Yeah.
Right, but I tell you, just going to answer the question now in terms of will they need this, I do believe that this service should be provided free of cost to our national athletes.
So who going to pay for it?
Somebody has to pay me or my team, right? But there needs to be, I don't think this should be an out-of-pocket expense for them. And this is what we talk about, providing athletes with an array of support that they need. So you don't have to, and all of this is going to stem from how you utilize financial support. right? So you can utilize financial support to ensure that the athlete has access to certain other types of support. Okay? Are you hearing me?
Yeah, man, loud and clear.
Okay, I thought I froze or something.
No, man,
Right.
we hearing you
So
loud and clear. We're just giving you the opportunity to articulate your position.
right. So clearly my team and I would have to be paid. But as I said, especially to help them to find um proper and healthy coping mechanisms to deal with the disappointment. Getting news also from some external source that some of our athletes are physically sick, like they're not well.
Right.
Some of them are injured, and they may also have other types of illness, sickness that they contracted there. We don't know what they are, but and those are conditions and situations that really can contribute to them feeling disappointed because you can't perform at your best when you're not at your best, both physically and mentally.
And mentally, right.
Right. So it's just in Jamaica, in terms of very salt year, but even in the saltness, we still got some sugar, we got some medals.
Yes.
Of which we are extremely grateful for. But I mean, the disappointment, it's not a grand hurrah because of how high our expectations are.
Definitely.
And this is where now helping them to transition after the Olympics is going to be crucial. In fact, my most recent research, which was post-Olympic transition, was initiated by a former Olympian who told me that I should look into this matter and research it, because when they were competing, when they came back, they went through a real dark period. And so I did, and I used athletes from interviewed athletes from 1972 to the 2020 Olympics, and it did show that they were more prone to depressive symptoms after the Olympics based on the outcome of their performance. This was from a long time to now. So you can just imagine now, long time meaning 1972 to the 2020 Olympics. So in answering the question that was asked, definitely they need to utilize the service of a sports psychologist once it's provided, because I think it may be provided and then people may say, "Me right, me good, me no want to talk to nobody," because that is part of it as well.
That's part of our culture. But tell me something. How important is it after you do all the physical training and you train your heart out, run your chest out, vomit on the track and all of that, how important it is now for your mind to be in that right place to maximize your potential in competition like that?
Well, it's absolutely important, and that is my purpose, my main purpose when I'm working with a team. So my main purpose is for you that when you see me, based on the program that we would have been going through, just like a coach, I have a program to help you to prepare your mind, which includes a variety and a combination of psychological techniques. So, for example, even a simple thing, but it is used in a very different way, as positive self-talk. Because when you're out there, if you have repeated negative thoughts, no matter how good and no matter how well you've been training, it's not going to result in the way you want it to, because you're telling you doubt in yourself and it's not going to happen. So when working with me over a period of time, we're able to rechannel, refocus, and reprogram the brain to utilize the language in a different way to help you to execute on the day that matters most. Not
Something
training.
just come to my mind a while ago. And you mentioned earlier that in your early part of your career, people used to run away from you. But it just clicked in my mind a while ago that a lot of young Jamaicans, especially men, boys, some of them who turn to marijuana, them call it brain food. So why is it that they are afraid of somebody getting into the brain or into the mind to condition it in a way more positive to allow you to exert that energy in a positive way and to come up winners in what it is that you do?
It's again part of our culture, and just the whole fear of, oh, what is it that she's coming to do? I don't want this, because as I said before, one to run, I said, no, nobody work on my mind. Where she I go, right? And then over time, I must say that same person, if I was late anywhere and I saw that person, I would be later because I would be told how much they're using the techniques to help them in other areas of their life, such as if they have to go to the dentist and manage the anxiety, use the same principles to calm themselves. So it's a whole set of life skills that you're able to use, but more channeled in a sporting setting. And because, okay, some of our, I wouldn't say inexperienced, but athletes who've gone to the Olympics for the very first time, the expectation of them has to be different. And the reason for that is because even in fan mode, you and I know that they don't have the level of competition experience. And competition experience is what you need in order for you to really execute. When you hear one bag of people screaming your name, you know the weight of Jamaica on you. You know the weight of an endorsement deal is on you. Sometimes in that moment, it's not because you can't run or you can't jump or you can't do this. You can't feel your legs. You don't even
Pressure
know the body
tighten you up.
parts on you. And this is when you have to tap into the mental part now and refocus, calm down. You have to self-soothe because it's you one out there facing the ball, you one out there
But
facing the chat,
you'd
the
have been
court,
taught the
whatever.
techniques from the sports psychologist before. So
But yeah,
no,
these
you
had to
don't.
be, yes. So this is not a quick fix. So whenever people call me in and say, Doc, can you come and do a program? I talk with my team. I'm very reluctant in saying that, and actually will refer you to a motivational speaker, because what I do is an entire program where I work alongside the coach. It's a supplementary program, because when it's a match time, or let's say I was working with the team or some of the athletes prior to, I wouldn't be there talking, just me showing up is supposed to remind you of the importance of you using your brain and you calming yourself. I'm just a reminder of what you would have already known. You understand? If it is critical, and sometimes it is, where I say like, oh my God, you don't remember, then I can use specific things tailored to suit you to say, hey, remember that this is what we said you were going to achieve and you agreed to this.
Let me just
So,
remind our viewers and our listeners, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Dr. Olivia Rose, sports psychologist extraordinaire, I may say. And of course, Dr. Rose, we have quite a few clubs in Jamaica now in terms of athletics. How many of them have sports psychologists assigned to those clubs? The racers, the MVP, you name them. You know them more than I do.
I think they have their own individual psychologists that they recommend on a needs basis, but it's not necessarily a sports psychologist. But either way, I would be still happy to know that people are utilizing trained professionals in the area to get help with their various life issues. Okay, because again, the athlete is a human with relationship problems, with eating problems, with performance anxiety problems, and so forth. So I think some clubs outsource that support. I'm not sure if they have somebody there like how you'd probably have an accountant, but I do know that, and I also know that for some of our local Premier League teams, they have utilized the services of a sports psychologist. And even I must say, because I would have worked with some of them either way, so I know that, and even schoolboy football. So people are aware, and some high schools, through their old boy or their alumni association, they provide the services for their champs, athletes, and so on.
What is the greatest difference you have ever seen after getting involved with a sportsman or a team or an athlete?
The greatest difference is when I really see how, and real proud moment for me, and on two separate occasions it has happened, when we would set goals and be very deliberate about it based on the techniques that I use, and visualize a set outcome, and it actually is the exact outcome. And those are moments that I like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I was able to work with you to help you to achieve your goal. So those are the moments that make you know that this thing works, and it's a combination. The thing about it is that the success of the techniques rely on the usage of it, but on a whole team effort, even if it's an individual based sport. And when that athlete is able to be resilient and cope and express him or herself in ways that they once couldn't, and you see the real growth. It's almost like a proud teacher, because you have seen the growth in your student, and that's one of the moments for me that I'm really proud of. And I just always want to say, oh my gosh, I wish I could extend this to more persons, for them to truly understand the power that the mind has when combined with the work, because it's not a quick fix. So if you don't go to training, you could be telling yourself, I am a champion all day long. It's not going to work. But when it's combined with the work that they do, you can really achieve great success.
Is it true what the mind conceive you can achieve?
Absolutely.
A lot of our athletes will be coming back from the Olympics disappointed, because a lot of them went there with high expectations, and they are coming back not meeting that expectations. What are your advice to these athletes?
Okay, my advice to them would be to realistically assess the situation based on the resources that they had, and resources meaning even their physical and mental state at the time, other external resources that have nothing to do with them, in terms of how they were managed or not managed, hydration, diet, a lot of things. So doing an assessment to realistically assess the resources that they had versus and the utilization of that versus the outcome that they got. And if when you combine all of those and you see based on that situation, I did my best, like a comment was made by Rochelle Clayton, that listen, I did my best. The girls were just faster than me, and this was a personal best for her. I think when in coming back, there should be no disappointment with something like that, right? Even though that's easy to say, because I don't know any athlete who doesn't want to win. But It's not always about winning, and this is why I'm saying when you work or you will have the services of a sports psychologist provided with you, because I never ask an athlete if I didn't see their event, did you win? I simply ask, did you achieve the goals that you set? No, and that's the thing we need to know too, as Jamaicans, to be more understanding that sometimes you have a goal for an athlete that they don't have for themselves.
True.
So it's the fan that ends up being more disappointed. But for those coming back feeling disappointment, there has to be some reassessment too, in terms of the way going forward, and how you want to chart that path, and what are the resources that you need, so that we have hopefully the next 4 years to prepare for something like this. What would be your next steps after a true break? Because breaks are important. If you don't break, life would break on you.
Yeah.
Taking a break, resting, recouping, and then doing an assessment, and then say, okay, where do we want to go from here? And then you communicate that with your support team.
Dr. Rose, did you see or hear Kishane Thompson interview after that 100-meter race?
I did not see that interview, but I read something this morning about an appeal. I'm wondering if I'm late on reading that.
An appeal? I never hear that.
Yes, I read that
Tell us what you read
this morning, that he intends to appeal not sure about that at this point, given that in sport there is a 30-minute window for which that can be done. And 30 minutes would have passed a long time ago. However, could you give me a summary of what that interview was?
What the interview, he was saying, I think the interviewer was saying to him that, hey, this is your first Olympics and you did well, and, you know, a silver medal at your first Olympics. And he was saying, listen, I'm not judge myself to nobody's standard. I know what I could have done. I did not execute properly. I started to tighten up. I didn't trust myself to continue my stride pattern, and then I started decelerating. So in my words now, he was not satisfied with his performance, and he was not taking any consolation from the fact that he got a silver medal. What would you say to him?
I like his assessment, and I somebody else would listen to that if that was what he said and say, oh, him being too hard on himself, you know, much people don't get no medal and so forth. But as my shirt says, be the standard, be limitless. You set your own standard.
And that's what he said. He said he's not going to judge himself against anybody else, but he will judge himself against himself, and him know himself. He know that he was faster than that.
Of course. And that is why sometimes, you know, after you achieve a personal best or a season best, it's not very easy to repeat that in the same time. You know, that's why after Stoner threw the 70, even though he threw again, it didn't go beyond that. But that's how life is. But if you know you can throw that, and if you know you can run faster than that, you hold yourself to a high standard. Yes. And I think that is one of the things that has set us apart from the rest of the world, because everybody can be a part of a standard made by other people. But if you set your own standard that, listen, I want, when I go out there, this is what I want to execute. And if he could break down his race in a way that suggests that he was tense, when you're tense and the muscle groups are tense in the body physically, you cannot perform as you would had you just been relaxed.
Yes,
but we know
that he wasn't relaxed.
But this is his first final. So as much as he wanted to be or hoped he would have been relaxed enough, he wasn't. And this is what happens. And this is what I mean when I talk about competition experience and exposure. No, you see, the next, having been there, done that, I would like to say, your brain has worked out what that is gonna look, feel, sound like. Plus, you'd have actually been there. So
you sports psychologist made a difference. We don't know if he had one, you know.
Right, but if he was there with a sports psychologist or working with a sports psychologist, him utilizing certain techniques that would have been like a toolkit, so he would have like a gamut of them, and knowing which one to use at that time would have been really effective to help him to say, hey, Kishane, you got this, you can do this. But it's not just that. And let's use some of the things. I can't go into detail about what he could have used, but I know, having worked with athletes, and I'm remembering even St. Lucian Olympian that I worked with many years ago, that attested to, Doc, you know, I was feeling really tense during the warm-up, but I remember the techniques and I used them, and I felt better afterwards. So I was able to execute my race. And these are the things, because when the body, it's like a switch, you know, when you're feeling this way, you know you're feeling this way, and it's almost like your thoughts are spiraling if you don't have somebody there working with you to help you to control that, or reminding you, say, hey, don't make it spiral. You control the switch. You can turn it off, right? But this is his first finals. He knows what's at stake. The body, the mind, the brain, everybody knows what's at stake. And so the tension was a natural part that came on him, but he could have reduced the tension had he used certain psychological principles at the time.
Is there something different? Is there something different between those athletes who are able to produce their best in a big occasion? Because Noel Isles run a PB in the final. Usain Bolt normally breaks the world record in the final? Is there something that separates these people who are able to produce their best at the big occasion?
Yes, there is, and there are a combination of things that work that makes the difference between world record breakers, and people who don't finish, and so on. Everything is about timing and execution. And I don't think Usain had a psychologist working with him, but he was using psychological principles. At the finals, it is not only about talent, whilst talent is important too, because we don't know the talents of Kishane or the other finalists. This is gonna boil down to who really wants it the most. And it's
more hungry for it.
who is so that's a combination of grit, because this is and grit is a psychological term now, where we're saying, hey, this is a rough moment for everybody beside me because we are all here together. No, how am I gonna allow the pressure to overwhelm me? Or as Sizzla Kalanja would say, we're going to rise to the occasion. So if you make a choice right there, and it's not for the weak, not for the faint of heart, because you have to show up in the moment where it matters most. It is not training, because a lot of athletes run way past world record times in training. But who cares about training? It is about when one bag of people around you making a lot of noise, your heart jumping almost like your heart is on the floor because it's no longer in your chest, and you're feeling some things in your belly. You're feeling all sorts of everywhere that you can think about.
The legs, and you're not feeling the arms.
And I'm telling you, it is an experience that if you are primed, which is another psychological technique, word and term, if you are primed to expect these things. So for instance, if I'm working with a team, I say, hey, let's think of there's a puncture just before we are about to arrive to the grounds, right? How are you going to deal with that? If you're going to let the puncture throw you off, and you don't remember what you're going out there to do, or say, boy, we never get for warm on time, and then you start giving away all the little energy that you need to go out there and execute as a team. No, there may never be a flat tire going to any match, but at least in the event it happens, your brain has already worked out certain coping mechanism to deal with that. So now that Kishane has gone to a finals, he knows what that feels like. He has real memory of what it is now. But had he also imagined, okay, let's say, because there's no way they would have imagined that they would be there so long before the race started.
Maybe about 5 minutes they hold them at the line.
I don't think that is something that you imagine. But these things happen, right? What are the thoughts gonna be like? What techniques are you gonna use, right? And we have so many different techniques that I now see are being used by international athletes. And sometimes when you see them tapping different parts of the body or different gestures, those are things that are psychologically embedded and are psychological techniques. We have emotional freedom technique, grounded technique, positive self-talk, a whole range of stuff. So the athlete is equipped with so many different things, and hopefully the aim is for them to remember to use one. Use one or use two if it's so, like if the pain is so severe, you have to probably take more medication versus a mild one. It's the same thing. We just want to reroute you so that you can free up those muscles and execute when it matters the most.
Do we have enough sports psychologists in Jamaica that if every national team decides that whenever they are traveling, they are going to be traveling with a sports psychologist? Do we have enough to do that?
Excellent question. Based on our vision or the lack thereof regarding sports and the provision of this service in particular, no. I've been the lone sports psychologist for almost a decade in Jamaica. And in recent times, I've seen Nicholas Powell, who is based in Jamaica but work with Jamaican athletes. And there is a Dr. Jason Scott Hamilton. And so that is 1, 2, 3. The three of us are in a little group together.
I'm not laughing at you, Doc, because, I keep saying to my listeners and my viewers that Jamaica should not be a poor country.
Never.
Sports, culture, and the creative industry, which you are all a part of.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at the Olympic, Kishi and Thompson is now going to be a millionaire. Tia Clayton is going to be a millionaire. Or we can actually say they are millionaires now. Because based on what they have done in the Paris Olympics, and we're talking about the new ones. We're not talking about the Shelley and the Sharika. They are already millionaires. We are talking about the shot put, the discus thrower. He's going to be a millionaire now. Sports is not just running up and down anymore. It is big business, and Jamaica continues to have these assets and not being able to earn from them. So when are we going to make these kind of changes to ensure that our team get the best assistant to perform at their best when they go out there? Because when the Reggae Boys go play against Brazil, we expect them to win, you know.
No, there's never an expectation about not winning here.
We expect them to beat Brazil, but we're not giving them the best chance.
No.
When are we going to get to that stage, Doc?
That's a question I would want to ask you back, because in another capacity, you're my deputy, you're the deputy for, so you're my senior in many regards. So it's unfortunate because the thing is, like you said, I said it's just three of us for sports psychology, right? And as you said, the vision should really be that each national team has a sports psychologist with them. That would be at least about, on the count, top of my head, 13 or more, right? Because there are some.
Let's say you have 13, so you can share. Because
Right.
it's not every time all 13
No,
teams are
correct,
out.
correct.
So
but
people
even though the issue with the sharing of that is that even though you may not be having world championship and world tours at the same time, each sport has its own idiosyncrasies and nuances and so forth. And over time requires the same amount of training a table tennis athlete goes through, a track athlete goes through, it's just that we consider certain sports to be minor and major, which is again another myth that we really need to look into. So from the perspective of ensuring, going back to what you were saying about this industry being billion-dollar, trillion-dollar industry, that if properly tapped into, and this extends to administration in particular, right? To ensure that, because if things are not managed properly, it does not matter what the resources are, it's gonna go to naught. So if it is that you're gonna pump $1 billion into the industry, it has to be done in a way where administration properly manages the resources, and you have competent administration, not people with scant regard for the industries, right? And until we reach there, and people not just with, we don't want them with scant regard, but we want to ensure that they also have two other qualities: integrity and that they have vision. Because you can have integrity and then you have no vision, and then we, give us vision lest we perish.
Right, and without vision,
So that's important. And when we can tap into that element of it, then there is a lot of job creation that can happen from this industry. Because it's unfortunate that because I would have taught at all of the major universities here, especially the sports psychology courses. And it pains my heart when I see some of my very brilliant sports science students serving in restaurants. And there is nothing wrong with the creative industries in cuisine and so on, because remember, I'm also part of that industry.
Right.
But can we allow people to earn decent income from their passion? You understand?
And when Jamaica does so well at sports.
And exactly. So one of the things is that people like to talk about capacity building, right? Yet I've sat in panels with coaches who say that, we outsource our sports psychology services. We send them to New York to go and get training from from a psychologist that trains top pianists in New York. What is the capacity building for your local people? Your local people who understand the culture more, because it makes zero sense. You could be the best, you could be the best anything. If you are not familiar with the culture, the application of your techniques isn't going to work, right? So we have to first, believe in our people in the industry, train them, because if they're being trained here, why is it that the best job you can get when you finish a sports science degree is working in a hotel or so on, which is nothing is wrong with that job, I'm just saying, can we
Right.
have people working in their
If you have that
specialized
level of
areas?
qualification in an
Thank
area,
you.
then you need to be in that area.
Right. And even sports journalism. Sports journalism is another part of sports, but it's also a part of the creative industries, of which they're not tapping into to produce the kind of results it can. Because again, the people who lead the chart have to be knowledgeable, they have to have integrity, and they need to have vision.
Are you seeing the chat room, Dr. Rose?
No, I'm not, unfortunately.
We're
Let me check.
talking to Dr. Olivia Rose, sports psychologist, and my virgin Abraham just said.
I'm seeing the chat now. Sorry.
You seeing it now? You see the last one? Too much politics in sports.
Well, like I said, my senior, I'll put this one over on you. Right? This is true. This is absolutely true, and it's very unfortunate. And the comment was, let me go to the comment. There's too much politics in our sports. I will not read the rest of it.
One is PNP and one is GLP, and then who else is there? We lost Dr. Rose. Dr. Rose, where you drop off gone? Look like she touched something on the phone and drop off. But we were talking to sports psychologist, Dr. Olivia Rose, and she's the Junior Shadow Minister for Sports and also the Junior Shadow Minister for Culture and the Creative Industry. The PNP have some real bright people. And we can tell you, we are going to make the changes. We are looking at these things in depth, and we are insisting that these changes must be made. Let's welcome back Dr. Rose. We don't know.
Yes, thank you. I just pressed too many things a while ago and using my phone, but yes, there's too much politics in sports, and the unfortunate thing about that is it's not because politics is needed in sports, but it's how it's done, okay? Yeah. And the utilization of that.
Because if you talk about politics in sports, I will tell people that had it not been for P.J. Patterson, it was a political policy that took Jamaica to the World Cup in 1998. P.J. Patterson went to Brazil, government to government, to get Rene Simoes to come to Jamaica to really get the reggae boys to that position. So yes, politics is needed in sports, but you don't need to politicize the sports.
Exactly. Excellent and beautifully articulated. And at the same time, sports is also a very unifying force. So it cannot be based on so much division and who want to put this one and that one. And it's just too much. Can we all just get along? And yes, I'm not
going to keep you any much longer, Dr. Rose, but the Reggae Boys' new coach just arrived in Jamaica. What are your views? Football is your sport, I know.
Yes, football is my sport. I love football. Is my favorite sport, even though I should be on this platform saying I have a favorite sport, because I have so many other athletes that I work with from different sports. But what I will say about that is it matters not who is the coach. It goes back to administration, because having been a part of a management team for an international team, I know that athletes can change management like they change their clothes, okay? So it's gonna be based on, are we gonna, so you can hire new people all the time, but are you hiring them with the same mindset, with the same vision, or with the same administration, and expecting different results? What are we doing? So, like I said, in the same way that I encourage athletes to assess their performance, review resources, etc., then make new goals, there has to be some calling out of, hey, this isn't working. And if it's not working, what are we going to do to fix it? Because, like I said, the hiring and firing are people moving on. That's typical sport language. But it's what are we going to do different? Because if you're bringing somebody in new, and you're bringing them in the same culture of anything goes, or if you're not doing what I want, it's a wrap. We have to look into what are the goals and expectations that we're going to have of this new person given the same conditions.
Dr. Olivia Rose, anything you want to add finally?
I just want that my greatest wish as a sport practitioner is for us to take the industry seriously and to have people with vision, integrity, and a commitment to see real improvement working to manage the industry.
Dr. Olivia Rose, sports psychologist, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Listeners and viewers, so you heard from a professional sports psychologist, and I believe that it is something that every team should have. Worse when you're leaving the shores of Jamaica to perform on behalf of this nation. Every team should travel with a sports psychologist. I strongly believe it, because the mental toughness or the mental weakness most of the time is the difference between winning and losing. And I like to look at the West Indies team because I think that they are mentally weak. Mentally, the West Indies team look like babies. Weak. I don't know if they have a sports psychologist with them, but if they don't, I believe that the West Indies team needs to have one of those. Or our reggae boys need to travel with one of those. Sports is big business. When you are a good sportsman, you don't even have to be the best to be wealthy. And people say me like talk about wealth. Of course, the Bible says money answereth all things. But the love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah? So you need to maximize your potential. And that is what we have not been doing in Jamaica. From I was a little boy going to school, they used to tell me that our people is our biggest resource. And we have not been able to put our people to work. We're opening the phone lines. 804-7072. You can call us straight and you can call us on WhatsApp. That's the same number we're going to be using on Styles FM starting this Tuesday night at 8 p.m. The Colin Bell Show. Talk to me live. We're going to be talking politics, religion, sex, current events, sports, you name it. Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Wagwan, brother.
Well, I'm here at sports this morning.
Yes.
A very good topic.
Yes.
But let me tell you something. Until we have government policy, we give sports the relevance, attach the level of importance to it from a school base. From school, we will not achieve our fullest potential. Because the reality is, if it hadn't been for the schools who actually try to even use creative means of getting funds to honor talent and showcase the little kids, we wouldn't be doing as well as we are doing.
Absolutely not.
And if you check Jamaica, with our achievement on the international scene, it shouldn't be that in each parish we don't have a proper running track, a proper stadium. There are countries in the world who hasn't performed as well as us on the international scene. And the government ensure that resources are put in communities so that talents can be unearthed.
Of course.
But
we're joking, brother.
In our system, what we do is when the few teachers identify the boy who have the ability or the girl who have the ability and fight, sometimes even with the parents, the school have to beg, fundraise, do everything just to get them to a level where somebody can see them. Because even the corporate sponsors, they only come on board after the work most time is done.
Yes,
when
yes.
them looking marketing
yes.
to them product.
Yes.
But in terms of putting in the resources and say, look, we are talented people. So if we invest by ensuring, say, every parish, we can start by every parish, has a proper facility where you can put resident individuals who have expertise. We can find money to pay a consultant to this and consultant to that. We can make that a reality by saying, look, we have a facility in Port Antonio on a weekend in the afternoon. If the boy interested, he can go there. There's a proper coach there.
Yes.
Fitness trainer.
Yes.
All these things can be placed there. We have the money. Don't tell we don't have the money. Because everything happens. They can find how much a million to do. Find how much a million. It's just the will and the fact that majority of who make it in sports are poor people, children. And the fact that we have a system who come from the plan that does not prioritize what can move the poor from poverty to prosperity.
Wilson.
We prioritize everything else.
Wilson.
And yeah.
It is the same thing with culture, you know. It is poor man picnic if we really develop the cultural and the creative industry in Jamaica. And sports is the poor man picnic that going benefit, you know. And not to say, hold on, not to say that the rich man picnic not going benefit.
No,
but we have more poor people in Jamaica who are going to benefit from a rise in sports and culture and the creative industry.
Exactly.
It is the average Joe that is going to make the big bucks. Usain Bolt never come from no rich family.
No.
Shelley and Fraser come from Waterhouse.
Yes.
This youth here, Kishi and Thompson come from Clarendon. Them not come from Upper Cherry Gardens or Beverly Hills.
But through sports, they can change themselves, their families, and their communities.
I like to tell people about that interview I saw with Ian Boyne and Usain Bolt. When Usain Bolt said that the people were upset when him go live in the area.
Yes, I remember that interview.
Because him never got the prominent high schools.
We must never, at no point as Jamaicans, take it out of our head that the ruling class still see every Jamaican as a Jamaican. That is not so.
No.
And there are persons who attach themselves, who is from the other Jamaica, who attach themselves to the coattails of the people up there and think they have their interest at heart.
We call them bossy slaves.
If they are the interest at heart, they would have put things in place so that the children become better. Because there's only one way a family can beat poverty. And if your children become more educated, have more opportunities than what you had, and that's how you're going to beat poverty. But guess what? Feed them with the starfish tail and make them feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And them say, that man like me. That man don't like me. That man don't care for me.
Give them a $10,000. And them say, yo, I general that.
Yeah, man. Look here. We have to start it because let me tell you something. It shouldn't be that schools have to now enter competition because they're not on the resources.
That should never
National
be.
competition. That shouldn't happen.
In a country that we are doing so well in sports and culture.
And listen, it should be a given that every high school, every primary school enter the competition to provide opportunity for every interested child.
Yes.
In this country, and that is not the case because resources still determine who enter, resources still determine the quality that a performance you get from a particular school. Yet still, we have resources where people can flee so much millions from the same ministry of education. Where those resources could have been put into helping some poor Jamaican family. Listen, you see, until the day the politician gets in the head, look, if we get the people educated and they can't earn, we not have to give them the money, We not have to give them no money.
But because some politicians don't want that, Wilson.
No, because that's what they feel. They feel that if you're independent of thought, there's no control. That is it,
Yeah.
And all you're going to do at that point with independent of thought is to hold them accountable. If you say, boss man, you represent me. We must can call you and say, me not water in my district. What is your plan for that?
Yes.
Me road want fix. What is the plan? Me not light for my street. And then and if you can't give me those, it means you're not supposed to be there. That is what they can't deal with. They can't deal with that. They can't deal with that. They can't deal with that to the point where we're in a country where we get a clear quota for hurricane and a parish. I have to go wait 2 months before they finish getting electricity. And people are going to try to explain that away. We don't explain that away. Something is wrong, something is amiss. Accept it wrong and accept it. We need a fresh and a new approach to how we govern every single thing in this country.
Leadership is lacking in the country, Wilson. Leadership is lacking. And me not care what nobody wants to say. The week of the hurricane, I think it was about the Friday, Saturday, Mark Golden said, bring in external help for JPS to restore electricity. And they said no. 2 weeks after, before them start thinking about it. Management is vital.
I grew up in a Moti era. So I spent a lot of time, even at the university, listening to Moti Perkins. If Moti was alive today, he'd be one of the most disappointing Jamaicans.
I would really love to hear a Moti Perkins talking about what is happening now in Jamaica.
Because look here, I cannot imagine that the media, who should be the vanguard of holding the government accountable, helping poor people to better understand governance, in being an apologist.
The fourth estate has fallen down, brother. The fourth estate has fallen down.
How did we get here? You know why we get here? Because the media house can't survive without advertisement from the government.
That is
the media house can't survive without the government writing off taxes. So guess what? Rather than holding the government accountable, it's as if them hide them face in the sun, but them bottom are exposed.
No, them singing for the dinner.
Yeah. All and sons will recognize, look, what is happening is not in the interest of the majority of people. And we don't want to get to the point where we have to have a revolution, because revolution sometimes will bring the desired result, even though the objectives of the revolution might be good, but the desired result might be totally opposite. We have to get to the point where the person who are educated with taxpayers' money recognize them have a duty to make the life of the uneducated and the poor and vulnerable better. That is the point that we need to reach. It's not about singing for might in alone. Moti did tell me when me small say, if everybody in a community could have drive a Benz, they could have parked your own out that door and left it open.
Of course.
Because nobody no need to keep it.
Of course. But no people no see it so.
No people no see it so. Because no people see it as me rise to the top to turn Bucky Master.
Yeah.
So me now become a black Bucky Master. Yeah. Because
it's about me. Me, I and I.
It's about me. It's about
I
me.
and I alone.
So, look here. As a career teacher, one of the most fulfilling experience is when you go certain places and see your past students, you know, and you know them are worth more money than you.
I can
no
just
problem
imagine.
With that.
Yeah.
You know, and you see them, and you remember the little boy in your class, you remember the little girl. Yeah, I met a student downtown, and she said to me, Mr. Wilson, you remember me? I'm working at BOJ. I was in your class.
Yes.
I felt so good.
Because you see your contribution to society shining.
And looking up, she remembered me by name. I didn't even remember her name.
Because you have done so many of them.
Exactly. And if I never make a contribution to her, she wouldn't feel so good to come and share with me.
Yes.
What she experienced now. Look here, let me tell you something. Jamaica can go far, 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 far. We can be better than Singapore. We can be better than Dubai.
And it not take long, you know. It not need 10 years for us to get there.
Listen, you ever go England, you know, and people buy Jamaican apparel and a clean yardie ship. And when you talk to them, you realize them on a yardie. you know the psychological effect with Jamaican up on the world.
No people don't understand. And that's why when I speak about the culture and the creative industry and sports, Wilson, a lot of people say, Shaka, cool, man, you just attack. They don't understand. Jamaican culture is craved around the world. People want to know about us. People want to know how we live. People want to see how we live. People want to eat our food. People want to dress like how we dress.
They want to socialize like how we socialize. They want to be happy like how we happy. Because guess what? Most of those society, you know, it's very depressing, you know. And that is why when they come to Jamaica, they enjoy themselves so much. Because them say, Jamaica always airy.
Yes.
Jamaican always happy.
Yes.
Look here, man. If we need to get it right. And we need to make the average Joe understand, hey, then life value more than one handout. We need to understand, say, if we have 10 people, it's better. The politician provide opportunity for 10 people, maximize their education potential than in come and give it $100,000.
No people don't understand that.
When the 10 people them get education opportunity, then can give me millions.
Billions.
So guess what? Run them way. Tell them take the $10,000 and the $100,000 go make my life better. Put opportunities out there for the children.
Yes.
Make the community more safer to live.
Yes.
Better road.
And more amenities in our communities.
More amenities. Make my child who's strong and can go fling discuss. Can just sit at the man and he could can just go over card park because there's a discuss coach over there.
Yes.
And the coach show him the technique.
And a long jump coach over there. And a high jump coach over there.
Yes.
What are your views about the importation of teachers from where? Nigeria, Indonesia? Is Indonesia?
Yes, in my view as a teacher, let me tell you something. If a piecemeal approach to a systematic problem never generally help. It might appear as if you're covering just a band-aid. The reality is, there's nothing wrong in exchange of culture, but it can't be the policy of the government to import teachers when, as a country, we have the capacity to train persons who are more tuned and adept to the needs of our children. But presently, I think it's a catch-22 because the reality is, out of reclassification, the teachers got the worst deal.
Yes.
And nobody can challenge me on that. I remember having a discussion with Emily, and I show him, I tell him figures, we not use Nigerians, we give him real figures.
Yeah.
And I can send you the scale, because I have the policeman scale, I have the nurse scale, and I have the teacher scale. have all the skills that they use for reclassification.
And you said the
And
teachers get the
teachers
worst.
got the worst. And I'm talking about this, because what they did, you see like the person at the top, the principals, and so those persons with the senior the people in helping at the LC and helping at the police, they are similar. But you see, in terms at the bottom, the ordinary people who run the wheel, teacher end up at the bottom. Wow. And that we are of the opinion as teachers that a nurse have a first degree, a policeman have a first degree, and a teacher have a first degree. So if a first degree value $10, the RFC government. Everybody should have get the $10. Everybody should have get $10.
But when they thought about when the argument about the reclassification came up and that we have 100 and had different salary bands and they're going to fix it, I thought that was what was coming.
But that was the impression I had as well. But that was the message that was being purported by the minister. But in reality, that doesn't exist. There's a scale for everybody different, same way.
Because when I look at it, I say, all right, all new police teachers and nurses were just coming at the profession will be paid at the same level. When they're in there for 5 years, they're at the same level. 10 years, same level. But no, you're telling me that teachers got the worst deal out of it all.
The worst.
That's not what I had expected.
The ordinary working teacher got the starting teacher. So a teacher with a degree and a nurse with a degree. Starting. At the start, the nurse is better paid than the teacher.
The nurse is better paid.
And when you take into consideration that the nurse have the capacity to do sessions to augment his or her salary.
Yeah.
So, and the teacher has no such opportunity. Because somebody will jump and say, they can't have extra class. In the poor rural kinds of Jamaica, persons cannot afford extra class.
Yeah, and then you do the extra class and some people don't pay.
And they don't pay. And then sometimes they live too far and class pay for the extra class because they now can't reach home. So there are many other factors that mitigate against teacher benefiting from such a system. So you see, what happens now is that the teacher has to now measure. I am 35 and I have a child. I don't own a land, I don't own a house. And if I work like this and my child to go to university, how am I going to own another piece of house? If I go overseas, it would be in a better position. And the system is as such that I can carry my child. My spouse can come.
Yes.
I could just go somewhere else to make life.
Yes.
And then you hear the minister with filling vacancy. 15-year experience is different for a person who's just coming from college. And you can tell anybody this. If you just come from college not really train you to actually keep the ground running at the CSEC level. You need experience. You need to learn the culture, how students learn, how you navigate through the syllabus. Because there's not enough time. So you have to learn some things along the way.
On the job.
So you just coming out, marking it, it's impossible to learn quick enough. But you know, so everybody will learn at the same rate.
Not at all.
So therefore, you know the system must suffer. Look, CXC results that come out in the next 2 weeks, and you're going to hear another backlash. Because at the end of the day, persons now get factor in the disruption within the system with the quality of result, They more expect
the quality result.
And they more measure schools. They won't measure school with 10% as against school who starts at 10% as against school who starts at 98%. And then want to make it appear as if the teachers who are in the 10% school did nothing. And then listen to the discussion. And the teacher in 98 did everything.
Yeah.
And that is the kind of hypocrisy. Because I believe, what we need in the system is not really equality, we need equity. So, for example, if the Ministry of Education recognized that a school like Fair Prospect, for example, have 800 students who in the main didn't ready for high school.
Right.
It means again put the resources in at that school. Because at the same 5 years them to the CXC, you know.
Yes.
That's how some people can't, you know, think some people understand, you know.
And that's one of the things that we've been stressing for years now, Wilson, that a school like Fair Prospect, where the children not ready for high school, gets the same little bit of money that you give a Teachfield. And then a Teachfield school gets more resources from their past students association, their alumni.
So they end up with less. So you find the schools that are getting the better quality students are better resource. So that means if you have a system like that, that is apartheid, you know.
Yes, and that's something that Peter Phillips and Mark Golden and Damian Crawford been talking about, that we need to change this apartheid system.
Look here, I can tell them this, and I can say this to the minister. Since I bring the principal and par in terms of how they are remunerated, it should be that you can take a principal from, like, say, a Teachfield,
yeah,
and put him up a Fair Prospect. You know, can you see him here?
Yeah.
And make him fix Fair Prospect. And if, yes, man. No. Yes, man. I see the pay never change.
And take a teacher from Champion.
Champion and tell them a Fair Prospect. Because we don't want to know so well, since those teachers and those managers are the movers and shakers, the salary not change.
Wilson, but we know say no so it go, you know. The teachers at Teachfield and Campion gets the students who are ready, who are driven, who are motivated, with parents who are backing up.
Supported by parents.
Then that me say with parents who are backing up the school.
Yes. Yeah. So me that suggest to the ministry, you shouldn't be any problem now. You should have put the principal in a circuit.
And Wilson, give me a chance, because on this argument, I want to big up the Past Students Association of the Port Antonio High School, who are coming together in a big way now and starting to support Port Antonio High School. In fact, on when was that? Thursday? And I think it was, yes, Thursday. A check of $560,000 was donated by the Port Antonio Past Students Association to the Port Antonio High School to buy a woodwork machine. And I want to big them up. And we are going to be doing lots more for Port Antonio High School, because we want to see Port Antonio High School as one of the top high schools in Jamaica. And they said that alumni back up the other schools them. Well, Port Antonio High School, your alumni are going to be backing you up now.
Well, I as a teacher, I can overemphasize the importance of alumni support. And I'll say this for the general public to understand. Please remember that if you are living well now, the school had something to do with it.
Oh, yes.
Give another child an opportunity to live well too. Mm-hmm. Remember, there were persons ahead of us, and they never close the door, they never destroy everything.
Yes.
So we can come and live a quality life. So guess what? I will always say, never, you cannot measure your support. And there are some past students who don't want to tell the school. They want to see what is happening before they support. Guess what? Be the catalyst of the change. Go in, and if you believe nothing is happening, make something happen.
Make sure something
Choose a project.
Yes.
Choose a project and fund it, and look for your friend them and ask them, and don't measure the support. It's not just about, you must live, make others live, provide opportunity for everyone.
Brother Wilson.
And yeah, man.
Bless up.
Nice talking to you.
Love talking to you, my brother.
Yeah, man.
One love. Yes, man.
Yeah.
804-7072. I tell you something, you know. We have a group, Port Antonio High School Past Student Association. And hold on, I'm going to look and tell you how much people in the group, because the honest truth is, sometimes I can't manage the group, because, you see, I cleared the group yesterday, and right now we have 227 messages messages in the group because people are participating and we are insisting. This is a WhatsApp group of over 300 past students from Port Antonio High School. And our intention is to ensure that Port Antonio High School is not short of anything to allow our students to be the best that they can be. And I tell you all the while, one of my vision is to see a school from Portland win the Costa Cup. And that is the next thing that the Past Student Association is going to be taking on to ensure that our footballers and our athletes get the assistance that they need. Because what we want to see is more people become millionaires now. We want to see more people get wealthy in our community. That's what we want to see. So we are going to support our children. And we're going to do it by way of supporting our schools to ensure that our schools are doing well, our teachers are comfortable. I believe that our teachers must be treated. You see, like how the United States treat the army man them and women. We need to start treating our teachers. So we're not going to no war. Because we can't war nobody. We can't even war the few bad men them were there. So we need to look after our teachers. Need to. I cannot rate a school as good school that will only take children at 95%. You see, sometime, Auntie Dan, sometime you have to understand because some of the children them and the parents are set of jokers. They're coming to school to waste time. Girls coming to school more focusing on the hairstyle and the nails and on the quality of phone that they have. And the parents are backing them on that. They are not focusing on the educational opportunities that are available at the school and tapping into it. They are not focusing on work hard for the 5 or the 6 years or 7 years in high school and go live easy after that. They are focusing on wasting time, living easy throughout the times that they are supposed to be in school and college, and then after that, then go suffer. And we are saying, work hard now. Focus on your education now, and then you live easy after. Too many low-paying jobs in Jamaica are now being glorified. We're glorifying the jobs at call center. And I hear people telling me on my political sojourn that we must try to get a call center in Port Antonio. Call center. We don't get the high-paying jobs in call center. You get the $15,000 or $17,000 a week job in the call center. We want more than that for our people. We want high-paying jobs for our people. And that's why I am so focused and determined that sports, culture, and the creative industry must be a way of life in Jamaica, that our people can earn big bucks. Presently, each Jamaican is earning an average of $6,000 a year. $6,000 a year. That can't do it. We need to get our people to be earning somewhere about anywhere between $30,000 and $60,000 annually. That is possible if we drive the creative industry the way we are to. Culture is Jamaica's oil. We are talented people. Our sportsmen and women make billions. And we need to give them that opportunity. As Wilson said a while ago, we need to create a facility in every parish that on a Saturday and Sunday the children can go there and get professional guidance in whatever discipline they want to participate in. We have GC Foster College who are turning out good coaches. thanks to Michael Manley and the People's National Party. The rise we are having in sports comes out of that relationship with Cuba when it wasn't sexy, relationship with China when it wasn't sexy. So what are we doing? What we're doing as a people? We have to get serious. We have to get serious as a people. And the regular man in the street have to start open them eyes and stop get bamboozled. $10,000 make you suffer. That money that they give you on election day is for you to stay in sufferation and to stay in poverty. That is the money that you get on election day because you don't want to hear the plans for the future and assess those plans and see if they are workable and be a part of the team to ensure that we move our people from street side greetings to business meetings. Morning and welcome.
Morning, my brother and friend and MP in waiting. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you, my brother?
I am peaceful. I'm peaceful.
Talk to me.
I was listening to the discussion with the learned psychologist, sports psychologist.
Yes.
And it was quite informative. I did not know that we didn't have at that level. We only have one person or two.
you realize what is happening in Jamaica?
That's crazy, man.
With the talent that we have and with the achievements that we have had over the years, you think we would have been setting the thing and growing the thing?
No, but this points to a greater issue with the JOA and the J3As and also with the minister.
Yes.
Yeah? Because we have what is called the SDF, so ably formed by Portia Simpson Miller.
Yes.
Yeah? The Sports Development Foundation.
Yes.
Now, if it is that you're having shortages in terms of skilled and qualified persons to help with administration and with the effective management of sports, yeah, all aspects, you can get funds from the SDF and use those funds to send people to university. So the SDF can actually be giving grants to students to study these areas. When Portia was there, that was what she was doing when she was under PJ Patterson as Minister of Sports.
But you heard her say that a lot of students coming out of university who are sports scientists and all them something, they are not working in the field.
And I'm saying we have, and that is crazy. I mean, that is absolutely crazy. And then the policy position. So my friend, when you become minister, you have a lot of work to do, you know.
Whole heap of work, brother.
Right? So I want people to, and I'm glad that you are seeing the issues now. But let me tell you, there's a problem that we have in Jamaica, you know, right? And politicians have. And as a student of politics, this was taught to me by DK Duncan.
Yeah.
DK said you have what is called, I forget the word he used, but he said it is always that when you say it's similar to a psychological term called the Johari window. So when you out of office, you can see everything wrong, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. But when you're in there, yeah, it seems as if you don't see these issues.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
And so I hope and trust, and I know you have been consistent over the years with this. So I mean, like Mike and you, who has been consistent about wanting to see Vernon field.
Yeah.
So you know, when you hear some people, you know that they will never move from the positions that they have been
right, because you see, one of the problem is that some people get into politics and then them try to do something.
Yeah.
There are those of us who have the vision and want to get there to do it.
Exactly.
So when we get there is what it is that we have wanted to do for many years that we are going to get done.
But for me, I recognize that, you know, it is just, first of all, let me say this, right? I saw because I am going on the same content of the independence celebration, right?
Yeah.
Remember, I am not physically present in Jamaica. Yeah. And so I joined in because if I were, I would have gone to the Grand Gala. Yeah. Because typically I participate when I'm home. Yeah. Now, one of the things that really annoyed me, and I don't take the position as the wider public who is like, what Chinese doing there? Because remember, they are Chinese as a part of our culture. Yeah. that they have not that they were part of the freedom fighting. I want people to make, I'm making sure I make a straight distinction, you know.
Yes.
Yeah? But they have been a part of our community. I remember growing up as a youth in Kingston and St. Andrew. We had the Chinese cemetery just up the road from me. Yeah. I even in St. Mary, Western St. Mary, I had we have had many Chinese friends who they're born in Jamaica, but is what happened is over the years the parents or grandparents migrated from China.
Right.
But they were born Jamaicans. So it's the same thing. It's like if a man go say Mark Golding and a Jamaican because his father come from England. I would never support an argument like that.
Not at all. Once you're born at Jamaica, you're Jamaican and you can't be nothing
I
else.
don't support xenophobia. No matter which black, white, or purple, I don't support it. Yeah?
Exactly.
So, but I am saying my disappointment though, in saying I don't support xenophobia, I must also say that I was quite disappointed that the Maroon community was not on display at a very pivotal event like this. But not only that, no one from the Maroon community was honored.
Well, you see, presently we have an administration who are trying to sideline the Maroons.
Yeah, but it is petty. Let me tell you, when it comes down to national events, and this is why I must give respect and regards to PJ Patterson, Portia Simpson Miller, right?
Yes.
And even Peter Phillips when he was opposition leader. There comes a time when politics have nothing to do with national events. Colin, as much as I am a supporter of the People's National Party, right? When it comes down to a national event, I will run away supporters of the PNP in defense of Jamaica. Yeah?
Yes.
In defense of, because politics have nothing to do with.
You see, I normally tell people, my brother, that politicians are supposed to be special people. Because when the election done, you are supposed to govern the country and be responsible for all Jamaicans, include those who oppose you the day before.
Exactly. You can be.
And
like
if you don't have that ability, you're not fit to be in the position.
And you can't be like our goodly friend who has no. Did you hear what happened at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security?
Which one? What?
That they have removed the opposition leader's picture. Yeah? There's no displayed picture of the opposition leader in the Ministry of the Ministry of Social Labour and Social Security.
Whenever I hear that, we have to go check on that one.
Yeah.
First, I hear that.
The video is out there surfacing, right?
Send it to me, man. Please.
I will send it to you. This is the third time now that we have had an incident like this. Yeah, and it is, and I am not surprised as to who is the. You see, when you have tribalists, like the tribalists in Southeast St. Mary, right? Those are tribal people. Yeah, and it is quite funny that it would happen in a ministry that both Colonel Charles Jr. and Dr. Dunn resides in. Yeah. Remember that Colonel Charles's father was the lead man in campaigning for Norman Dunn when he was seeking the re-election after Dr. Winston Green's death.
Yes.
So we know the Charles and Dunn, they are very close.
Right.
Yeah? Very close. Hence why Dunn was transferred from industry to labor to work with Charles. Yeah? Because my information was that he was not getting along with Arbin.
Oh.
So the truth be told, these two guys, and they're very political. Let me tell you something. I was one of those who had the greatest respect and regard for Colonel Charles Jr. because I felt that he came in the politics. A man gave up him US citizenship. Yeah? Man lived in US. The man had him law practice up there. It was quite comfortable, to be honest. Yeah?
Yes.
And when a man give up all of him have in the ability to serve his country, you have to give him respect.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
You give respect. But I am disappointed because I thought that he would have been some sort of change in the Labour Party. Coming in a different generation. But then I shouldn't be too disappointed because them said the chick no far fall from the black. Yeah? And having seen what is happening in Eastern St. Thomas to the people and the blockading of the people from accessing lands to plant, and have activities. So I know who these guys are, and we know them.
So have we found any proof that the MP for Eastern St. Thomas has given up her US citizenship?
When I find it, I send it to you because I can't find it.
So we haven't found any proof on that yet?
There's none. There's none, and it is not listed. Remember, every person.
And she's not made to declare that yet. What is happening in Jamaica?
But it's not what if she's not made to declare it. The People's National Party needs to take her to court and force her to declare. They can do that. Yeah. So let me tell you to Colin, this is where I'm going to get in the politics, because today I'm going to say some things that I know a lot of people at the executive level of the party is not going to like it, but it's the truth. For the last couple of months, meaning 2 months now, right? The party has been looking good for the last year or 2 years on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe since Beryl, we have forgotten that there are still people who are looking for us to speak on issues. Yeah? And we have allowed this false sense of the independence, yeah, to kind of quiet us. Because did you hear about this report coming from Zara Burton about the Minister of Finance's involvement in a charity?
Well, I saw some of that. Never get deep in it, but I saw some of that.
I got the report. I subscribed and I saw this full report. And let me tell you, Colin, I cringed. Because it's the same thing happening in Western and Eastern Portland. Yeah?
Yes.
Where they have these fictitious charities set up with one purpose, is to funnel money for election day.
And when I ask about the money that was collected to help the vendors with the burning out of the market, where is the balance? People say, your bad mind.
No, but you cannot be. No, that is. Let me just say.
The money was collected for the people, and they got a part of it. Where's the rest?
But let me tell you something. You see, when a man got tell you say you're bad man, right? An elected representative cannot look at an opposition member of parliament. First of all, it's not your money, and you don't want it. You're just asking for account in regard to the people for the purposes it was collected.
Yes.
But this charity, I don't know, I'm going to delve in it much because people need to go look for themselves. This charity was formed in 2018. In 2018, who stepped down? Derek Smith?
Yes.
Right? So when it was formed, the first initial deposit into it was about 16,000 US. Yeah?
Yeah.
Then it went up to about 27 million. 28 million by the by-election, By the by-election done, them had only maybe a 1 million, 2 million in it. So it means that the money came out.
So the money was so it is easy to suspect that the money was spent in the by-election.
But if you're going to do that, because I know you're a student of science, that you must have empirical evidence, and you must match it over a period of time.
Right.
So we go back to after the by-election, the money went down, only $1 million was left in the account. Then we go back to 2020 now, that 2020 was the general.
Yes.
So what happened in 2020? In 2020, 35 million was sent back into the fund. Just on the eve of the general election.
Mm-hmm.
When the general election was done, how much was left again? 1 point something million.
What?
We go back to 2022, right? Ligel resigned from the foundation in 2020, right? Mm-hmm. He resigned from the foundation, but that was February of 2020, right? He resigned from the foundation, which meant all the while he was MP, he was presiding over unaccounted funds, yeah, unaccounted funds. And remember, not only that, the charities fall under the DCFS, the Department of Friendly Societies, right?
Right.
Who is in charge of that? No, you remember now, it's under the Ministry of Finance, yeah?
Yes.
Because they are taking it out from industry in keeping with the IMF regulation. Yeah?
So that now becomes a conflict of interest.
So that in itself is a conflict of interest. And I'm saying, and I'm calling on Julian Robinson, right, to look at this matter. Because within the very months leading up to that, the minister was championing the greatest pieces of legislation in terms of money laundering to get us off the grey list. So how could you be facilitating more? That is why he resigned quickly by 2020, because he knew what he had to champion in the House, and he could not be a chairman of something that was unaccounted for. He's not the only one. I'm certain the Prime Minister, this said is being done under his charity. This said is being done under the ones in West and East Portland. Yeah, this study is being done in Western St. Mary under this trust, under a particular trust there. Yeah, no account. And look at this. Trust, these things are not supposed. When you look at this formation, that is what we call the formation articles, right? For
Yes.
these entities, it tell you exactly what they were designed to do. Poverty alleviation. Not one soul in a marble get a bag of grocery through the foundation. So and every time when the expenses were drawn out, the 28 million, the 35, and then in the last half of 20 by-election the other day, there was about 15, 16 million that was taken out. Every time that is done, you know what happened? The heading is administrative expenses. But that is not the scary part alone. The scary part is there's no account as to who the donors are. You can't tell who donates to the foundation.
Oh, so you don't know where the money come from?
You don't know where the money. So in all intents and purposes, it could have come from a fund from Dudu Spoke.
could have come from the same person.
So it could come from contracts belonging to the government. It could be coming from contractors working for the government. Yeah,
my brother, a lot of questions to ask.
So I'm saying
one of the questions is that we want to know.
Look at this.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just saying that I was just reiterating that we need to seriously look at this, because I believe we're allowing some persons to get away with blue murder who pretend to have the greatest level of integrity. Let me tell you something, Colin. I respect, you see, like your friend in Western Portland, everybody know who him is. They know him as a Yaga and a Bugu Yaga. Yeah. That has no, even though him supposedly come from good table, him have no brought up. Right. So you know Southern State. You know the one of Southwest St. Catherine. You know him brawling and him Bugu Yaga. Yeah. Yeah. But when you listen to people like these who are supposed to, they exude a level of integrity.
Yes.
Yeah? And the way they behave, you don't expect
hold on
this
for
from
me,
them.
my brother. Hold on for me. Auntie Don. You have to turn off your instrument, Auntie Don.
Yes, I turn it off.
Yeah, man. Talk to me.
Okay. I was listening to your caller speaking about Grand Gala. And I thought that more people would have mentioned this. Yes, I too said that with the Chinese, it shouldn't be the Chinese alone, because they weren't the only indentured laborers that came to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And if we are going to say out of many one people, is one flag. I don't see why a Chinese flag should be there. It shouldn't be there. So if we are going to talk, we should, with the Indians, to me, the Indians are even more integral part of our culture than the Chinese, whether past or present Chinese.
You know, as the team, as the culture and the creative industry team, we intend to ask some questions about the Grand Gala. But the fact that the minister is in hospital, we basically take a pause, hoping that she get well soon, so we can put those questions forward.
Yeah, and any other flag must be, with the Jamaican flag, should be the maroon flag. I don't know if it's one flag govern all maroon communities, or each maroon community has their own flag, but whether it's flag or flags, any other sovereign is the maroons. And I think that should happen. And the last thing, because I know you soon leave.
Yes.
Did anyone notice that TVJ, just when Mark Bolin was entering the stadium, them break for commercial, they took a commercial break on the opposition leader? I don't hear anybody talking about that. I think it's blatant disrespect.
Me never see that. At first, I hear that one day. At the first, I hear that.
Yeah, man, who watch it on TVJ? When we get so tribalistic in national events, can you imagine? They were just, they usually give the background of people as the vehicle driving.
Yes, yes.
In vehicle came in and he was talking, and just when it reached about the part about his father, so they took commercial break. Big disrespect that. I was not happy. And I don't think even if you are a laborite, you should be happy. Because what they are saying, same knife a stick, sheep a stick goat.
Oh, yeah.
And if your leader is in opposition, I am sure you want that happen to your leader.
None at all. None at all.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Bless up Auntie Don. One
Let's
love.
give thanks.
I see my virgin still up on the line. I guess not. Well, viewers and listeners, let me say thanks to all who joined in this morning. Thanks for all who participated in the chat, who called in, and who continue to support the channel. Share the channel, like up the video. Tuesday night. Yeah, man. Thanks for calling back, sir.
Yes, brother Shaka. I realized that you had gotten a call. No problem, man.
Yeah, man.
We don't mind sharing the line.
Right. No, I want you to know that Tuesday night we're gonna be back on Styles FM.
Nice. I remember them days, man. I used to listen here in Western St. Mary.
Yeah, man.
In our bar, the radio never come off Styles FM.
All right, sir. So
segment used to be nice, man.
Tuesday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. we're gonna be on for 2 hours, and we're going to carry it right here on YouTube, same way. Right.
So we'll definitely join you.
Yes,
but
man.
Another issue I wanted to raise with you, right? That I and the caller raised with you a while ago was what had happened to what TVJ did to the opposition leader. Because I was actually watching it from the TVJ stream.
I am hearing it for the first time. Never hear that.
So as he came in the stadium and they started talking about Surgeon Golden Rehab. His father came to Jamaica in 1956. Yeah. You know that by the time they announced that the TVJ went for a break.
That's what she just told us.
No, but it is. Let me tell you something, Colin. If you don't want people to talk, right? And I know mainstream media is not going to like me for saying the truth. Yeah. I used to be one of the biggest scholars on Emily Shields. Yeah. I can tell you that. And if anybody realize, I've pulled from calling mainstream media. And let me tell you why.
I don't really call Emily no more either.
Not me. I don't waste my time anymore. And let me tell you, somebody that I respect, I still do respect. But the issue that I have is that because so many persons in the media, what Andrew Holness did when he came in 2016 was to quietly give a lot of them awards. Yeah?
Yes.
So they are behaving as if the award that them get if they're at the base of the PM. And that's not how it goes.
No, none at all.
An award, and that is why no matter what people want to say about Mutty Perkins' name will forever go down in history as one of our greatest journalists. Yes, he opposed the PNP vehemently, and we know what his positions were in terms of the PNP. But at least there's one thing you couldn't say about Mutty. It was that Mutty was a sellout. Yeah? That's one thing you couldn't say about him.
The Fourth Estate dropped the ball, brother. Big time, drop the ball.
No, this is the fourth. I said it to Andre Stevens yesterday, I said, Andre, this is the Fourth Estate. This social media is now the Fourth Estate.
Not mainstream.
Not mainstream. Do you know that the media in Jamaica is losing money? Just look at the report from the Gleaner Group, right? They just lost close to 500 million in revenue. And why is that so? Because people are now streaming onto YouTube. They're going onto social media platforms and they're looking for alternative news.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
They were and what you can come on this program, come say bullshit and pardon me expression or bull crap. Right. Yeah? Because there's fact checking. So I can fact check Shaka while Shaka talk.
Yes. Yes.
So this notion that that people are giving misinformation, it's lie. Because how could misinformation be something that you can validate and you can check? Right? So before we went, right, I was pointing out to you as well that one of the things that I am really disappointed in how I see the management and the recovery of Beryl, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I am of the view that the government has no interest in a speedy recovery. Yeah, that's my position. And nobody can blame me for having taken the position. And
it's your opinion, and you're entitled to an opinion.
And I'll say why, and I'll justify why I say so. In North Central Clarendon, the other day, a good friend of mine called me and tell me, sir, a man passed through a church down there, right? The people are in there on a light. So the church leader tell him about, boy, from the other day we not on a light, man. The man them said before by the time the church done and the MP leave the era, light came back. You hear what I say?
Yes.
And that's a strong, because it's a strong support base of him. A community down the road.
So he make a call.
With a PD that has been predominantly supportive of the PNP. Don't have light to today. Just less than 5 minutes from which part the light does turn on, you know.
Yeah.
So for me, the political representatives have inserted themselves in the process, and this is what is causing the bottleneck. Because when JPS go around, they say, no, man, go around so. Yeah? And that is what is happening.
My brother, we are seeing it. We are seeing it. Because they tried that thing with Berrydale.
Oh, you mean Berrydale up in the valley?
In East Portland, yes.
Yes.
They carry the current come to grants level. Carry the current come to grants level. They are joining community and leave Berrydale for about 2 weeks after before we start make some noise before Berrydale get some light.
Wow. And how was the situation up in Bellevue? How was Bellevue?
Bellevue got current before Berrydale.
And Bellevue's at the last point.
There you go.
I know the constituency very well,
Yes, man. Yeah, man.
Right, Bellevue vote right up at the primary school and the last for them fellas for the water company.
Yeah, man.
Good friend them too, you know. Even though them you know that I never said no more.
And Berrydale, they right close to Fellowship. Grants level is where Port Antonio gets its water. And they took the current to grants level, turn away, leave Berrydale for about 3 weeks after.
Oh, well, that should explain why. You know why.
Yeah.
You know why. But you see,
130 had to 40.
This minister will go down in let me tell you something. You know, I'm new name on social media.
What?
Huh? They just call him barking without breath. You know? No teeth.
So bark.
No bark, but no bite.
What, he can bark with you, you know?
And him does look like a pit bull, you know?
Behave yourself.
So, I said what I said. I won't take it back. The truth be told is when you look at his management of this Ministry of Energy, right? And let me tell you, people must remember how him get there, He got there because they caught the former minister in shenanigans.
Yeah.
Right?
The former one never skill enough. And then remember they put somebody else there before him, who basically.
No, it was the cleaner lady who is now at education.
Yeah.
Right. She's a forensic, she's an accountant, Right?
So she go clean up the thing and left it.
So she go clean it up with the new PS.
Yes.
Right? Who, by the way, the new PS is supposed to go on my yard, she can hardly see. Yeah.
I don't know that.
And they are facilitating. And let me tell you something. I am in this constitutional reform. I am of this view that no permanent secretary must spend no more than 10 years in a ministry. None. They must be transferred.
More than 10 years.
Every 10 years, you get new PS. You bring new blood into the system because that is how the corruption is facilitated.
Yeah.
When you have, for example, a PS sitting at the office of the Prime Minister, and I'm not I'm just using ministries. So I could say local government.
Call me early next week Saturday morning, brother. Call me early next week Saturday morning. We could dive into these matters because I have to leave,
Right. But as it is, as I go, teacher, I just want to say to you and to the people, remember that I'm certain that there will be party conference, correct?
Yeah, man.
Annual conference.
The constituency conference for East Portland is going to be Thursday coming, the 15th.
Please, will you be streaming it live?
No, we will not be having a public session. It will just be our private session.
Oh, just the private session. Okay.
But there will be a public session in Northeast St. Ann this Sunday evening, and I will be one of the speakers down there. So we're going down to St. Ann.
So we'll join. Oh, you mean in Northeast St. Ann where people put on them name and list so them not live?
Hallelujah. Little more, brother.
We'll talk about that next week.
Bless up. Yes. Early Saturday morning. All right, sir.
Early.
Thanks to all you listeners and viewers. And remember, Tuesday night, we're going to be on Styles FM. Next week, Saturday morning, we're going to be right here on YouTube on Portland Spice TV. Thanks, everybody, for watching. May the good Lord bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord give you his light and his peace, now and forevermore. Till we meet again next week. One love. Blessings.